let's get into studs and duds. It's going to be hard to find studs, but let's start out with it. Who do you have as a stud from this game in the Patriots' 30-13 loss to drop them to 1-3 on the year? And I'm mentioning the record and final score on purpose, Sean. Who do you got?
My first stud, I'm gonna go Joey Sly. And last week we went Bryce Behringer. I think he works again today too, but I'm going to go Joey Sly. I mean, he had that 63-yarder right before the half. He had a 54-yarder in the second half. He had the kickoff that essentially led to, the strip and the fumble and all that sort of thing too. So great game for Joey Sly. And much like we said last week when we talked about Bryce Behringer, if we're starting out with studs and duds and we're labeling the special teams guys, I mean, you're in a tough spot, but that's the way it goes.
I mean, Behringer flipped the field 3 times in the loss to the Niners, pinned him inside the 20 4 times. Like, good on him. Like, he's doing his job.
Yeah.
Let's go glass half full. They found consistency and reliability at the kicker and punter position. Winning teams need that. Don't take it for granted. Of course, when they get to the 20-yard line, they decide to go hard count, then call a timeout, and then go for it on 4th down. Again, indecisiveness by the head coach. Stud Joey Sly too. I mean, career long 63-yarder right before half, where he's lining up. We're going like, you're going with that? Like 3rd and 22, they run it with JaMychal Hasty to set up a 63-yard field goal. We're like, that's what's happening? Because I thought just go in the locker room, like let the clock run. They called timeout, but he nailed it. Proved us wrong. Hit a 54-yarder as well. Who's another stud you have from this game?
I'm going to go with Christian Ellis, and so he is the special teamer, the linebacker that forced a fumble, recovered the fumble, and on the second half kickoff. Again, that's just, hey, that was a great play. I mean, for like a small amount of time. I mean, it was maybe like 90 seconds, maybe 2 minutes. Like there was like a glimmer of hope. Like, all right, they just 10. And then all of a sudden, that momentum didn't last very long, but that was a nice play. And I did see like a closer up view of like the fumble recovery. It was kind of cool. He was like, I don't know, he got it all with one hand, like just like mossed it with one hand. I don't know. It was cool.
It was an athletic play. Hey, it set them up for their only touchdown of the day. Their only touchdown. Is that their only touchdown in the last 2 games? It is. It 100% is. Yep. 24-3 was last week's final. Yeah. Hey, it set them up for their only touchdown in their last 8 quarters of football. So good on Christian Ellis. Good on Austin Hooper. I was only going to go with 2 studs. I'll go with the stud is that play drop. You go jumbo tight end on the right side. You have Austin Hooper and a block and release on the left side. You go play action, which was sold by Rhamondre Stevenson beautifully. Austin Hooper comes out uncovered. You hit him for the touchdown, and he scores that one play. That is the only play I'm going to point to for a stud. My other stud is Christian Gonzalez. Locked down Brandon Ayuk for the most part. And be like, well, Ayuk hasn't been much of anything. He had 10 targets last week. Like, he still had 5 catches. 5 targets on Sunday against the Pats. Only 2 catches, 48 yards. When one-on-one with Christian Gonzalez. And I'm wondering if they give that one long reception, pin it on Seagon as well, when it was a zone off coverage and they passed him off. This guy continually sees elite receivers and locks them down. People could be like, well, Ayuk's been struggling. We had Matt Lively of CBS Sports Bay Area on earlier in the week. He said, no, they're starting to find their stride. They're starting to connect. He's starting to make the right plays. They will end up doing something. Deebo Samuel, Juwan Jennings, 808 at them. George Kittle had big catches. Brandon Ayuk was contained most of the afternoon, so that's why I give it to Christian Gonzalez. Who do you have for a stud as well? Did you have 3?
No, I wanted 2.
Okay. I only had 2 too, so I'm not going to knock you on that. No. I only had 2, and then I decided to put in a play. Not even an individual. What about duds? Yeah. This is the easy one to me. Who's one dud you have from this game?
Yeah. I got to go with Jacoby Brissett as my number 1 dud. That pick 6 is just, you absolutely cannot have it from a veteran quarterback who has a limited high ceiling, if you want to even call it a high. A limited ceiling is a better phrase. You can't have it. I mean, the decision was really bad, telegraphed it bad. He also had like 3, I'm pretty sure he dropped 3 different fumbles. He didn't lose all of them, but he had 3 fumbles. And it's just like, I don't think he's going to lose it, but I do think like games like this and a performance like this, the first 3 weeks, he didn't do anything that made him like he should have lost his job. I don't think anyway. But today, I just think it was a completely different performance. And, I think some of the sacks that he took were on him. So I don't think he's going to lose the job, but I do think like the game today is, it's like it makes the decision a lot more difficult to like explain, if that makes sense. Like the decision doesn't look as easy now as it did, after week 1, after week 2. And so I don't know if he'll lose it, because I think a lot of that goes to the offensive line.
Yeah.
But it's harder to rationalize, I guess, is the best way to put it. It's really hard to rationalize him as your starting quarterback after this performance.
Well, Jerod Mayo said there was no thoughts of putting Drake May in the game because the second David Andrews was ruled out. They're like, we're not putting the kid in. We can't. So someone's got to stay in. The one I'll say on that pick 6, Fred Warner is one of one. He is one of a kind. He's one of the best players in the NFL. Yeah. He has single-handedly made game-winning plays for the 49ers time and time again. Yes, Jacoby Brissett stared down his receiver, but Fred Warner started to pass off a different receiver, knocked him off his route, then recovered to his right, so fluid, so quick, and jumped up for that, fell down, got up, and returned it for a touchdown. He's one of the best players and one of the best athletes in the NFL. But to your point, staring down a receiver like that, telegraphing a throw, yes, you cannot have that. But it wasn't like a Will Levis or a Caleb Williams pick 6 that we've seen so far this season. That is a bad interception. Yeah. I'm not denying that. That is a bad throw. Hell of a play by Warner. It wasn't like he telegraphed it through a pick 6. That is just one guy being one of the best in the NFL. Switch his number from 54 to 24, and you're like, oh, it's a 6 safety making a play. That's how Fred Warner plays. My first dud, and I have 3 reasons for this. I go Jerod Mayo. Like, where's the game-to-game growth? The running game wasn't there. Being smart wasn't there. The containment of the quarterback wasn't there. Being competitive wasn't there. Like Geno Smith, like Aaron Rodgers, those quarterbacks continue to extend plays. You have a defensive background. DeMarcus Covington's your defensive coordinator. Where's the improvement of containing quarterbacks? That's my first. The game clock and game management, I hated it. Like 4th and 1, San Francisco 20. You go hard count with like a tush-push look, and then you call timeout, and then you put the offense back out there and say, no, go run a play. Like, no. If you knew it's 4 downs, run a play on 3rd down that sets you up for 4th and shorter. And if you knew too, go with the hard count, maybe get the defense to sleep, and then push it. And then they roll out and go with a bad play call, jumbo tight end on the right side, but run to the left behind a tight end and 4th string left tackle. I just don't see what the vision is. And then San Fran scores a touchdown on the other end. Jordan Mason fumbled at one point, 1:30 left in the first half. Don't call a timeout. But they force a punt, and then everything falls apart. But call timeout. Like, have as much game clock as possible. Get your offense in that 2-minute drill. Like, make winning plays. Instead, it seemed like he didn't know what he wanted to do before half. Like, he was completely amiss to what the possibilities are. And then his challenges today, 3rd and 9 in the first half. Kittle has a catch. It wasn't. No challenge. 3rd and 9 in the second half. Ayuk does have a catch, and he challenges that, loses it, and loses a timeout, of course. You got to, like, there has to be someone in his ear saying that wasn't a catch, challenge it. Someone from the up top, some instant replay. There has to be the aggressiveness, too, of, I need to go out, win this right now. I need to turn 3rd and 9 to 1st and 10 into a 4th and 9 and a punt because we need to get stops and we need to get scores now. Jerod Mayo was he was outcoached in this game. He was overwhelmed, and he did not look good. From a preparation standpoint, there's no improvement. From game management standpoint, and from just situational awareness as well as a head coach, Jerod Mayo was a dud today. Who's another dud you have?
I'm going Rhamondre Stevenson. I mean, for him to have 4 fumbles in 4 games, he lost each of the last 2 last week and today. So you can't have that. I mean, he's maybe your most important skill position player. And it just, So he was replaced the next series, but it's certainly not like he was benched or anything like that. And it kind of just like I was listening to 98.5 on the radio, like, and Scott Zolak was saying, he's like, Bill Belichick would, without a doubt, Ben Stevenson at this point. Like, and it kind of makes you think, like, what does he have to do? I mean, do you just keep riding it out? And again, you have such talent that it's tough to put maybe arguably your most skilled position player on the bench and keep him on the bench after this. But I think you got to do something to kind of set the, send a message, set the tone, whatever, cliche you want to come up with. But just a really underwhelming performance from him today, and this season after week 1, I should say, but with the fumbles.
No, I mean, he's fumbled in 4 straight games, and like fumbling has been his issue in the past as well. Like it's been an issue, and 2 straight weeks you lose it. Where last week it was an easy punch out. This week never had the ball fully secured right off a handoff, and again was a punch out fumble. I think last week's actually he hit his own guy because he was so loose with the ball, and that's how he fumbled. Like ball security is job security. It's the old cliche. You're RB1. You need to do that. He was one of my duds as well. I'll follow up with my other dud is Alex Van Pelt. I said it. They ran 62 offensive plays. 29 of them were either no yards, negative yards, or a sack or a turnover. 29 of their 62 plays were not even a yard gain or just a completion, just not a positive play, not moving the ball downfield. Jacoby was sacked 6 times, hit another 10. That's 17 sacks in 4 games. That's 17 sacks and 119 dropbacks by Jacoby Brissett. And the execution, I brought up that trick play where Tyquan Thornton is flagged. What's the execution there? I mean, 2/3 of it was done. Pop to Rhamondre. The last step is having your blockers in place. Having Tyquan Thornton on the field for that play is malpractice. And having Tyquan Thornton not executing is coaching. So Alex Van Pelt needs to coach better. That's a huge play. It's something to save the game. Maybe gets the offense working and just leads to a touchdown just to say, hey, we got back in the end zone. We lost 30-20. That's good. No, just it wasn't there. So that's why AVP is one of my duds. Who do you have for your final dud of the game?
Just to piggyback on that, Why would you use that play at that point of the game in a week 4?
I don't care.
When you're down 20 points.
Like, but when are they going to use it? Week 7 when they're 1-6 and they're down 30. I agree, Sean. It's the same of when the Lions used a hook and ladder against the Cardinals. Like, wait, why are you using?
Yeah.
Just go make plays. And also too, I'm gonna go just football. Trick play. No. And if I agree with you, like, why are you breaking that out now? I mean, this is a pivotal game for this team. Like, week 4 is a make or break week because that's a reality the Patriots sit in. But I think that too. Like, why use it there? They're not going to be using it in any consequential game in the postseason. That's for sure.
I guess that's fair. Yeah. My last one, I'm going to go Josh Uche. And so, he saw more time today. Anthony Jennings was inactive, so he saw more time. Anthony Jennings is usually, kind of the better against the run than Uche.
Oh yeah, huge loss.
It was a tough performance from Uche, no doubt. I mean, there was one of the short touchdown runs, Jordan Mason touchdown run. Just I don't even know what he was doing. He just ran up the field rather than trying to make a play on the ball or anything. So just not a great play, not a great game from him.
Yeah, Josh Uche continuing on that prove it deal he decided to sign, hasn't proven anything yet.